What does it mean if you have your Chiron in Aries, and what does it mean for the collective? Hi, my name is Debbie, founder of Green Star Healing, and in this video I'm going to be exploring what it means for someone who has their Chiron in Aries, and also what does it mean for the collective when we get Chiron in the sign of Aries. So for those of you that don't already know, Chiron is otherwise known as a spiritual wound, and it appears in your birth chart. It's actually an asteroid, and so at the time of your birth there would have been Chiron in the sign of one of the 12 zodiac signs, and this represents a type of spiritual wounding. So we can also see this as almost like a generational wounding, because typically Chiron will stay in this sign for years. Sometimes it might just be 1 or 2 years, and other zodiac signs it stays there for a long time. So it can stay there for up to 8 years. Aries is one of the ones that has the longest time when we get the Chiron return. So when do we have our Chiron return? Generally it's around the age of 50. Yep. So if perimenopause and menopause and midlife crisis wasn't enough, we also get our Chiron return around the age of 50, which is why it's even more significant and powerful to work with this part of your natal chart. And so what does it mean? Firstly, let's have a look at the dates so that you can check whether you do have your Chiron in Aries. So if you were born from January the 30th, 1969, and up to May 28th, 1976, generally you will have your Chiron in Aries, and also October the 13th, 1976, up to March 28th, 1977. So it basically went through Aries and then went back into Taurus for a little bit, and then went back into Aries, and eventually in 1977 it moved into the sign of Taurus. So if you fit into those dates, generally at the time of recording it's 2026, 18th of July 2026, and so generally it will be women aged 49 to 57. Okay, but some of those women who are aged 49, yours could be in the sign of Taurus, so you do need to check. It's not just all women at 49, because around that period of time, those women who are now 49, some will have Chiron in Aries, some will have Chiron in Taurus, because that was the time when it switched around 76, 77. Okay, so for example, me, I have my Chiron in Taurus, and amongst my school friends, half of them are Taurus, half of them are Aries. Okay. For other people though, for example, if I have friends who are 2 years older than me, 3 years older, everybody in their school year would have had their Chiron in Aries. Now, of course, there's more to it than just what I'm going to explain here. You can go deeper into the analysis by looking at exactly where it is in your chart, and then that can highlight a life area. But typically we can look just at the common themes, the archetype, and the archetypal wounds of Aries. And so if we look at it through this lens of Aries, if you know anybody with their sun in Aries or their ascendant in Aries is a fire sign, and Aries is very proud, confident, bold, assertive. It's an action taker. It likes movement. And so when we look at Chiron, which is representing some type of spiritual wounding that has come through potentially from other lifetimes, so from past lifetimes, and then through into this lifetime, we are going to get activated. And it's going to be activated by different experiences that we have in our childhood, at school, through society, and that is going to reinforce whatever it is that needs to be activated in you, because we all come here, I believe, we all come here to grow and to learn, and so things are sent to test us, things are sent to help us to improve and get stronger and evolve. And the the best thing about Chiron, which I'll explain at the end of this video, is then how can we turn this into the medicine? How can we turn the wound into medicine? That's the best part of this if you do the work. Okay, so for Chiron in Aries, the main wound that is going to come through will be to do with worthiness, your identity, and also your self-expression, okay, or being assertive. So there's different parts of this and there's more to it. And so the first one that I think is probably one of the strongest ones is the wound of worthiness. Okay, so this is really feeling like you're not enough and that you have to prove your worth. So in your lifetime, this can be constantly showing up as self-doubt, seeking validation and comparing yourself to other people. It might feel that everybody else deserves more success than you do, and this may come from other lifetimes where you just didn't feel worthy, and you're bringing that through into this lifetime. So Aries itself or Chiron in Aries is asking you, really, is it safe to fully be myself? If you have that in your sign, if this is your sign, Chiron in Aries, is it safe for me to be fully me in this lifetime? And is that connected to your worthiness and proving your worth all the time? Another thing that can be strong for some people is the wound of identity. So with the wound of identity, there's a core belief there, which is around maybe not really knowing who you are. So always going through life and just feeling like you're not accepted or not acceptable. And it might show up as maybe it's losing yourself in certain relationships, or maybe it's about becoming who other people need you to be. You might find it difficult to make decisions, and that's connected as well with being assertive, and and that's connected to being your authentic self too. So this can show definitely as being disconnected from your authentic self. Courage is a strong one here because Aries typically is that warrior sign, and so people with Chiron in Aries may have had this past life where you have been warriors before in other lives, and you've always had to prove yourself and step into leadership, but maybe you have had issues with that. You've fallen down before you've actually stepped into that leadership position, and now in this lifetime it's asking you to step forward. It's asking you to deal with that wound of courage. So maybe it's not safe for you. You feel it's not safe to take action. Maybe you think that you're going to fail if you try. Okay, and it will show up as things like procrastination and waiting until the right time or until you feel ready, and just having a fear of making mistakes or overthinking instead of acting. And this also, and it comes through very, very strongly with women and men who have Chiron in Aries, and that is the wound of visibility. Okay, the wound of being visible and really standing up and showing and standing in your power. And so you might have this core belief that it's not safe to be seen, and this will very much show up, and I see a lot in communities that I'm in for women in business. So if you have your own business, or it may even be that you are trying to step into a leadership position, but it's around not feeling safe to be seen somehow. Whether that is showing up for you in terms of social media, so you're not feeling safe to go onto social media and be visible. It might be a fear of speaking. It might be around hiding the gifts that you've come through. We all bring through unique gifts, I believe, through into this lifetime, whether that's from our lineage, from our family, from our bloodline, or whether that's from our past life gifts. But somehow you're maybe playing it small, and you have a fear. You have a fear of success. There's also potentially something around your personal power, so really struggling maybe with feeling empowered to lead and to step into leadership. You may not feel capable of leading, but it will stay there in the background, and it will come through as things like just giving your power away all the time, or waiting for permission all the time from other people, or feeling like an imposter, like imposter syndrome. And if you've got a business, it will be not charging enough. If you are doing work for other people, it will be accepting lower pay or lower reward, for example. So the wound of rejection is a very, very strong one, and really worrying, like if people really knew me, they'd reject me. And if I'm not capable of leading, I can't step into these positions. And then see how that's connected, like that leadership is connected as well to maybe that fear of rejection and fear of visibility. It's very, very interconnected, actually. Maybe there's a fear around being independent as well. So, not being able to trust yourself and not being able to really make decisions for yourself. Maybe you have a fear of being alone, or you lack self-trust, like you just don't trust yourself. So these are all very much connected. There's a little bit here as well, similar to Taurus, around receiving, having to earn your worth, having to earn your success or your abundance. So working with this as well. And just, you don't need permission to live the life that you want. You don't need to wait for the right time. You don't need to wait for approval. You don't need to wait for someone to tell you it's okay to be visible or to step into that leadership position. So what will happen is, throughout your lifetime, there'll be different circumstances and events and situations and experiences that will keep triggering you to acknowledge this wounding, something that you've brought through with you into this life that you needed to learn from, to evolve into, to grow from, to teach other people about. And that's the medicine. There is as well, it's worth noting that there is an element of this, because Aries is a fire sign, so it's also very bold, action taker, and it also can cause conflict. And so there can be an element of anger as well, and particularly this might show if somebody doesn't deal with that Chiron wounding, or it may be something that is triggering you to show or release that anger, or to deal with that anger. But ultimately, if we don't express our feelings, if we don't express our anger, if we don't deal with it, if we become too passive, if we bottle things up or we feel guilty, this is not good either. And this is something that we need to learn, that healthy anger is a necessary part of life, and we can learn how to do that as well. So what this is ultimately doing in this lifetime, your Chiron return throughout your life is going to trigger you. And when you get to around the age of 50, you'll have this Chiron return. And when Chiron is in Aries especially, it's going to really activate this in you, because it's wanting you to overcome whatever it is that is holding you back. So whether that is around your identity, or your assertion, or self-asserting yourself, or self-expressing, or feeling more courageous, or stepping into that leadership position, whatever it is that you came here to ultimately learn from and to grow, that's what will happen. So if we do the inner work, and when we do our Chiron work, it's not always straightforward. It may not always be super obvious. As I'm reading through these, you may feel, oh, all of this is relevant, and it very well could be, because we've just gone through years and years of having Chiron in the sign of Aries. And so And for most of you, you've gone through that period already. Some of you, if you're around the age of 49, you literally are just about to have your Chiron, your exact Chiron return, but you still would have been triggered over this last seven years or so to deal with whatever it is you needed to deal with. But what this is asking you to do is to really go and do that deep inner work, and to work on whatever it is that's really holding you back, because your Chiron wound is there to help you then to step into that second part of your life feeling reinvigorated, feeling like you can take bold action, feeling like you can step into your leadership, you can be assertive, you can express assertion in healthy, natural ways, as well as expressing maybe your anger in healthy ways. You can step into your independence as well as being in relationships, but you can step in to that independence. You can trust yourself. You can give permission to yourself to lead, to be assertive, to be a beacon for other people. You can be visible. You can be seen, and you can be courageous. You don't need to procrastinate anymore. You don't need to hold and wait off and hold back until you're ready. And really, it's about reclaiming. It's about reclaiming your worth. Okay? It's no longer about not feeling good enough or you having to prove your worth. It's just, it becomes time when, okay, it's time now. It's time for you to realize that you are worthy. You are so worthy. You are so enough. You really are such an amazing human being with all these gifts and all of this power. You are just acceptable as you are. And so it's having that courage to step into that, to just feel safe, to be seen in whichever way that means for you. But it's around really feeling no longer that anyone's going to reject you, because it's around stepping into your authenticity ultimately. So stepping into your power, stepping into your authenticity, whatever that looks like for you in your world. And then through doing the work and looking deeper at your chart, because in your natal chart right now, I'm just talking about Aries, but the Chiron placement in your natal chart will also appear in a particular house, which means a life area. And this also can help you to identify exactly more of a life area where this would have shown up for you. And also your chart will tell you even the age when this first got activated. We can also see whether there are other things that are connected to that Chiron that are going to show up for you during your Chiron return. But then also the chart is just such a magical place that we can then also look to see and get clues around, okay, what does this now look like for you? Okay, what is the medicine in this Chiron wounding? What is all of this? What was all this for? What is all this about? And how can I now feel safe, feel I can fully trust myself, allow myself to want what I want and act without any uncertainty, and really stepping into deserving to be seen and leading my own life? How can I do all of that? And what does that mean? Like, what is the purpose of this? What is my purpose? So as you step in now to that second part of your life, this is perhaps giving you another way to view your life and the meaning of life. And this can open up so many doors for you. I'm not saying that everyone's going to become a healer or a teacher, but definitely if, for example, if this is about your visibility, if this is about you being visible and something has always come up in your lifetime that stopped you from always being visible, it's made you hold back, it's made you really step in the shadows, hide away. Now, as you fully step in and you reclaim your power, and we can do this with belief rewiring alone, you then might be a beacon to other people to be visible and step into their power. whichever what that means for you. It doesn't mean that everyone will be a coach or a healer or a teacher. It might be that it's within your own circle of friends. It might be within your Facebook group. It might be on your podcast. It might just be in a book you write. It might just be with the women that you hang out with at the school. It might just be with people that you hang out with at work. It might just be in the supermarket checkout queue that you just find yourself in very synchronistic moments and you're there to help other people. It might be a blog that you start writing. It might just be something you share on your Facebook feed. Okay, it might just be a small circle of friends that you now help. Okay, but there is medicine in this, and there is definitely such a lot of good that can come out of working with your Chiron wound. There's definitely a soul lesson there. There's challenges that we have been asked to overcome, and once you step into that full power, you really then can unleash that different side of you. And this is particularly potent as we step into this, second part of our life, which is, a difficult time for a lot of people, but it doesn't always have to be. So I hope that's helped some of you to uncover a little bit more around what it means for you if you have Chiron in Aries, and also for the collective for the last 7 years or so as it's moved through the sign of Aries. Even as a collective, there would have been more people feeling anything that was needed to be looked at in terms of their own self-doubt around being visible or standing in their power or stepping into their leadership. So you can even if you don't have Chiron in Aries, over the last 7 or 8 years, you can maybe ask yourself, has something come up? Has it felt challenging? Have I been placed in positions where it's felt challenging and I've had to step in and own my voice or my courage or my leadership skills or my show leadership, or be visible, or be authentic, be more authentic, or just give myself permission or receive, and just really feeling more worthy, okay, feeling more enough. And that's what it's here to do. And ultimately, if we have noticed as well that a lot of these things have come up, but we push them away and we don't deal with them, this then can actually manifest in the body. We don't want to hold on to things in the body that we don't need anymore. Anything that's trapped, any emotions, any anger, any hurt, any fear, any judgment or shame, these things manifest in the body. And I'm a big believer of that. And I know myself that, and I've witnessed it in so many people. So it's about doing the inner work, releasing some of this. And one of the main things that I do in the work that I do with the women that I work with is, and men, but at the moment mainly in groups it's women, is belief rewiring. So really getting to the root cause of why we're feeling like this, and then working with that emotion, working with those memories, and rewiring that belief and rewiring it. So I am worthy, I am safe to be seen, I am powerful enough to step into this leadership role, I can receive, I permit myself, I give myself permission to live the life that I want to live now. I am independent, I'm fully independent, I am capable of leading, and if people really knew the real me, they wouldn't reject me. Being open to be your authentic self and just knowing. So I hope this has really spoken to a lot of people and you have got something from this. I'd love for you to let me know below, comment below. You can comment Aries if you have your Chiron in Aries, or maybe just share with me how this is showing up for you, which of the wounds sort of resonates the most for you. And if you're interested, subscribe to my channel, and I am doing this Chiron journey and following as we work through these years of Chiron in Aries, Chiron in Taurus. My own Chiron is in Taurus, but it's 0 degrees. So literally when I was born, it had moved from Aries into Taurus and then The day I was born was the last day then when it was in Taurus, and the next day it went retrograde and it went back into Aries. So I really do feel a sense of having this sort of blend, I think, of both. And because a lot of this is so strong for me, you know, when I was in the wound, it would have been a combination of both. And when I was born, literally like less than 24 hours after I was born, it went retrograde into Aries. And so I do feel very strongly a lot of this I've noticed in the communities that I'm in has come up over these last few years, and even for myself as well. So if you resonated with this, let me know. If you know someone who's a Taurus, send them my link to my channel. And I also have a 12-week program coming up soon for women with their Chiron and Aries, and this will be for this last period of time, because we literally are going to have from, when will it be, mid-September 2026 right through till mid-April. That's the last time when we're going to have this Aries energy in Chiron, and then it's going to go into Taurus, and it's going to stay in Taurus for around 5 years. Okay, 6 years. 6 years it's going to stay in Taurus, and then it will go into Gemini, and it won't come back to Aries until you're nearly 100 years old. So it's a perfect time to do this work. I'm going to have this amazing 12-week transformational program where we'll do belief rewiring, we'll do energy healing, we will do ancestral and generational healing, and we'll work with your beliefs, we'll work with astrology, we'll work with the energy, work with the Akash. I can't wait, I'm so excited. So comment below if you're interested in this, reach out to me on email, follow me, and I will be sharing soon all the dates and details of this as soon as I have it. So I can't wait to see you more on this journey, and I look forward. So bye for now, thanks for listening.